Welcome to the Doc G Show, a radio show cluster. Without further ado, critics have said he has the face for radio and a voice for silent films. Your host, Ben Doc G. Gordon.
And we are on the air. Welcome to the Doc G Show. I'm your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey Maximus, the Fernicus.
Say what?
Charette.
Doc G, what is up, sir?
Woo! I am doing good. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike is coming back from a triumphant return after the Burbank Comedy Festival.
Yes.
Woo! Woo! Went well, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Made best of the fest.
Yeah, the all-star lineup.
The all-star lineup.
How'd that go? How'd the second performance go?
Second one was good. It was inside of the smallest room at the Burbank at the Flappers Comedy Club.
Okay.
So I was really having a good time with my Friday night main showroom set, but the best of the fest was a lot of fun. Nice little. Always the small rooms are a lot of fun to do stand up in.
Yeah. Well,
I
I feel like too, if you know you're coming back because you dominated, it's got to feel good, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Of course, I tripped on a little bit in my set. Of course, that happened, but it's okay.
I honestly first thought you were going to say you physically tripped. Like, of course,
no physical. I wish. It's when you trip with the words is when it hurts the most.
Yeah, it hurts. There's no taking it back, and there's nothing. And there's nothing really cool that you can be like, hold on, let me switch this up. Repeat.
Yeah, no.
Oh man! Well, I'm glad it went well. We talked about before you came on the air about your luxurious stay. Just amazing facilities, folks. He's living in the lap of luxury. My goodness, this place, and by that I mean not at all.
Nope. Not at all.
Not at all. It looks like a place I would stay back in grad school when I had $50 from donating plasma, and that was about it to stay at a hotel. Mike, I think you should go get checked for tetanus and other diseases potentially.
Yeah.
You know,
Ugh,
but it's all right.
Wasn't good.
It's all right, Mike. I have something very important to talk about.
What is this?
Very important to talk about. Now, you have some other news. I'm going to save the other news until the end of the show.
Oh, okay.
Listeners, you've got to hold on for that. Don't change it, because trust
Big
me,
news.
it's gonna rock your world. You're gonna be like, wow, okay, I need to rethink things in my life. Okay, that's what you're gonna think. But, wow. Mike, I was preparing for the show. And as you know, we always give the people the most important information and news of the day.
Yes.
I was cruising the news, and I came across an article. It could shake the bedrock of society.
Say what?
How we view the world could change, Mike. This article is from Popular Science. And the title of the article: which animals can and can't fart? That's right, Mike.
Very important.
The most important thing you will hear this week, aside from your news, the who's who of farters and non-farters in the animal kingdom. Now, I think right now, Mike, I should probably just ask you a couple of animals, and you try to guess whether or not they're farters, you know?
Yeah.
So here we go. Bobcat, farter or not?
Yeah, most likely. I mean, yeah.
Major farter, Mike.
Yes!
They're tooting up.
Because cats do.
They're tooting up the forest. They're just out there letting it fly. Like you said, most of the feline family, just getting it going. Okay, how about this? Manatees, farter or not?
I'm going to go with yeah. Mammal.
Look at those guys. You see a manatee cruise up, you know he's farting that water every second. just
Yeah.
motorboating his way through the water. Okay, here we go. Sloth, farter or not?
Probably. They just look so relaxed.
Not a farter, Mike.
Not a farter.
Can you believe it? Yeah.
Hold it in or what?
Well, first of all, like you said, they just look like a farter.
They're eating a lot of greens too. I mean,
If you gave me a fart lineup of animals and asked me who's farting, 10 out of 10 times, I would say a sloth.
yeah.
Look at their smile, for God's sakes. Looks like they just seeped out a silent but deadly fart for the last 5 minutes. They're just
Yeah.
just that little smile, man. But apparently, here's what goes on. Their digestion is so slow that the gas is actually absorbed. And then they just seep it out. They breathe it out and seep it out instead of it actually going through the digestive tract. Pretty wild.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. Coral snake, Mike. Farter or not farter?
I'm going to go with no.
Farter, Mike.
Wow.
Yeah. Technically, they have a cloaca, where both urine and excrement go. Urine and the doo-doo. But
Oh, wait. So that comes out of the same hole?
that's right.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the name of it either.
Cloaca. There you go.
Cloaca.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Interesting.
I think it sounds better than anus. I don't know about you, but cloaca sounds pretty fancy to me.
Okay. Do they give birth through the cloaca or no?
Yes.
They do. Wow. 3 in 1.
Yeah. Now, this is really crazy, Mike, but the coral snake, the Sonoran coral snake, also known as the Arizona coral snake, it actually uses farting as a defense mechanism. When you get close to them, they'll do a high-pitched fart to warn you. And yes, Mike, it does stink. It does stink. And that snake is super poisonous. So, if you don't heed the fart's warning, you're in for some a bad experience. I was thinking about it. I was like, can you imagine getting bit by a coral snake after it farted on you, and for the rest of your life, you have that horrible association? So you're just sitting there with your friend, and one of your friends farts, and you're like, oh, God, not again. And they're like,
Oh, yeah. There's got to be some PTSD.
yeah, right? Like, just bad. Okay, moving on here. Pupfish. Farters or not farters?
You mean the ones that kind of blow? No.
Well,
that's
just
not
a
the
particular
same one.
fish. It's a pupfish.
Yeah. I don't know. Yes. Let's go with the yes.
Farters, Mike. Now, specifically, Bolson pupfish. Bolson pupfish have to fart to stay alive.
They have to fart to stay alive.
Yeah. They eat a whole bunch of algae near the bottom of the lakes that they live in.
Yeah.
And the more they eat, the more the gas builds up, and they just start floating to the surface. And that's where all the bigger fish are to eat them. So to stay at the bottom, they have to fart to bring themselves back down. Yeah.
Interesting.
Bats. Farters or not farters?
I'm going to go with no.
Not farters, Mike.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're the opposite of sloths. They digest their food so fast, it doesn't actually have time to produce gas.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. People always think Batman has no superpower. That's a superpower. No farts.
There you go.
He eats a pile of beans and broccoli. Nothing. Woohoo!
Yeah.
You might be asking yourself, how does that help him defeat crime? It doesn't.
No. It does keep his suit smelling fresh.
Amen, right? And
There we
as
go.
Bruce Wayne helps him on dates.
Yeah.
There's no holding it until the end and unleashing it. No, he's good. He's good.
Oh, the worst.
We've all been there. We've all been there.
It's the worst. The worst.
Listeners, now that I have let you know the farting and not farting of the animal community, I think we can all say, it's safe to say, we feel better.
Yeah. Relieved.
We feel better. We feel like we just ended that date and we have unleashed,
Yeah.
Mike, are you ready to unleash the fart that is this show?
Let's unleash this show, Doc G.
All 3 engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and lift.
Woo! Not silent, not deadly, but my goodness, is it a good time.
Oh, yeah, it is.
We have a fantastic show this week, Mike. We have the one, the only Skyler Acord on the show. Such an amazing artist, an amazing person, so nice. He's a great bassist. He played with 21 Pilots, just done these giant stadiums. Whew, my goodness. Played with the band Issues.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got his own music out there now. Really good songs. Just released his newest single, It's You That I'm Missing. Can't wait to talk to him. But first, Mike, we need to start where we start.
Birthday suit.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
And we've got some athletes this week, Mike.
Nice.
I am 99.2% sure you'll get this one.
Cool. Let's go.
Born on August 21st, 1986 in Sherwood, Content, Jamaica, our birthday suit wearer grew up loving soccer and cricket and track. As he got older, he started to focus solely on track and field. He went to the 2004 Olympics, competed in the 200 but didn't place. In the 2008 Olympics at Beijing, he won the 100 and the 200-meter races. He came back in 2012 and won 3 more gold medals in the 100, the 200, and the 4x100.
Jeez.
Then he came back in 2016, won the same 3 events again.
Jeez.
His fastest time in the 100 meters is 9.58 seconds. For just a little comparison, Noah Lyles, who just won the Olympics this year, ran it in 9.79.
What?
Meaning this guy is 0.21 seconds faster in the 100-meter dash, which is an effing eternity.
So true.
His fastest time for the 200-meter dash is 19.19 seconds. Both his 100-meter and his 200-meter records are still world records, meaning he is the fastest man ever in human history. Name that birthday suit wearer.
Totally a guess here, but is it Usain Bolt?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
That's not a guess. You know he's the fastest man in the world. Come on.
I didn't know that.
He is.
I always feel like records are just getting beaten every
You think
every
so?
4
Like,
years.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why he's so insane. That's
Yeah.
why it's just so nuts. He set that one record. He set the 100-meter record in 2009, Mike. 15 years ago. Nobody has came close to it. And the insane thing about it is, in the 100, he pulled up at the end. He wasn't even running as fast as he could. He's like, oh, look at me. I'm blowing everybody away. How great is that? He could have got like 9.4 or some insane crap if he would have ran all the way through there. Just a freak, Mike. Just insane. I could go over the biomechanics that don't make any sense about him for a long time, Mike. And sadly, I will say, back in June, tore his Achilles.
Oh no.
Yeah, playing soccer. I mean, it wasn't super horrible because he's retired, but nobody wants to tear an Achilles. That's no fun.
No.
You know. But he's had surgery, and he looks like he's getting better there. It's also crazy to remind myself that he's younger than me, which really makes me feel like a pile of but I mean, that's fine. Whatever. He's an 8-time gold medal winner and a 2-time world record holder, and I am nothing. So, whatever. But Usain, happy birthday, man. Enjoy it. He seems like such a fun guy, too. Mike, are you ready to rip some headlines?
Let's rip some headlines, Doc G.
It's now time for Rip from the Headlines.
Mike, are you planning on going anywhere for Christmas this year?
No.
Wow.
I don't know.
It's definitive.
Most likely not. Most likely not.
Okay. after this next story, you may have somewhere at the top of your list.
Okay.
Now, after almost 5 years of being completely blocked off from any other people coming into their country, Mike, North Korea is going to start allowing tourists again.
What? Wait, how many years?
5 years.
5 years.
Almost 5 years. They shut...
Almost 5 years. I thought it was like 20
No, well,
years. I thought nobody could ever go there.
Well, we can't. Americans
can't.
But other
Right.
countries can. And
Okay.
they couldn't, though, during the pandemic.
Right.
So they shut off everybody. And now they're saying, guess what? We're letting people back in.
Wow.
Yeah, so, folks...
Interesting.
Change your vacation schedule, because everybody wants to go there. Am I right?
Yeah.
Just a party time. Yeah. Just wanted to let you know. Just thought you should know. Mike, I've got a headline from New York Post. Here's the headline. Quote, Massachusetts mansion where businessman Rakesh Kamel killed wife, teen daughter in murder-suicide hits market for $4.2 million. That's the worst ad I've ever heard to sell a house, Mike. That is not going to get it done. I took a real estate class, Mike, and they let us know if multiple murders occurred in the house, don't make that your top selling line. You don't want to leave it out there altogether. That's just being dishonest. So follow me here, Mike. This is what you're going to do. You're going to use what we call in the biz sandwich maneuver. So here's how that goes. Massachusetts mansion, gorgeous crown molding, beautiful kitchen, couple of murders, infinity pool, 10-car garage. Boom. You didn't even notice it was there, right? That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Also, I got to say, what's the point of this article, Mike? Like, they're not trying to sell the house. Like, why blow up the spot of the real estate people and just be like, oh, hey, by the way, murders happened here, everybody. Like, come on, guys. That's not cool.
Yeah.
You know?
That's not cool.
Also,
We're running out of stuff to talk about.
Also, if I'm a rich person, I'm just going to buy another house. Like, yeah. I'm not.
It's the land that's for sale, but even then, I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I've seen Exorcist.
Yeah, I don't need it.
Not Exorcist, but you know, the one where the people come
Anything.
out of the ground. Anything, yeah.
Any scary movie.
Any scary movie.
Speaking of
Screw that
which,
noise.
Mike, do you know Scott Peterson?
Yeah, the guy who murdered his wife.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, he was convicted.
This house for sale?
No, he's got a new Netflix documentary.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, new Netflix documentary because of course. Because apparently America needs to know all disgusting killers like they're players of the Kansas City Chiefs.
It's huge.
That's
Netflix. That's all you see. I mean, it's the...
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all
popular.
But which, by the way, I'm so tired of it being popular, Mike. So tired of it being, and I'm even more tired. I am so tired of people telling me they love watching real murder mysteries. Specifically, they love watching them because they think it'll help them avoid being murdered.
Huh?
If that's you, listeners, let me tell you something. That's never happened.
Nope.
No one has ever avoided being murdered because they picked up some great tips from a psycho killer documentary.
Yeah, no. For me, it's like, oh, so everybody is a murderer. Like,
well,
anybody could be a murderer. It's like, there's
no rhyme or reason.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason.
That's like me watching porn and saying, I'm watching it for tips for what to do the next time I have sex with a porn star. Come on.
Oh, gosh.
Look at me. We both know that's not going to happen.
So true.
You watch murder mysteries for the same reason I watch porn. We're both disgusting perverts. That's why we do it. All right? Just get out of here with your I'm trying to avoid being murdered. It's the goofiest thing You know how many times I've heard that, though, Mike? I really hear it all the time. Like, a girl will tell me, oh, you know what my favorite thing to watch is? Murder mysteries. And I'm like, oh, God, why? And they're like, I fall asleep to him. I'm like, holy, what's wrong with you? It was like, you know what I fall asleep to? Comedies.
That's a fact.
Because it makes me happy. Like, what's wrong with you weirdos? Anywho, I got sidetracked, Mike. Scott Peterson. Documentary. In the documentary, Detective John Bueller says that when they took Peterson into custody, they were taking him from San Diego to Modesto. That's about a 7-hour drive. During the drive, they were informed that Peterson's wife's remains had been found. And they told him on the drive.
Jeez.
And despite hearing the news, he seemed unfazed. And he actually told them his order for In-N-Out Burger because they were planning on stopping. And the detective said he couldn't believe how it just seemed like he didn't care at all. But I was thinking about it, Mike. And on the plus side, you got to admit, if you're In-N-Out Burger, that is some killer advertising right there. Nah? Yeah, it is.
So true.
But I also got to say, it's a little weird, right? In-N-Out, like, I was like, not the part that he didn't make any reaction, because if he murdered him, that makes total sense. But the fact that they stopped at In-N-Out Burger when you've got a dude in custody, doesn't that seem a little luxurious to you?
Yeah, kind of.
Like, I mean, he's in custody. Like, if you're being transported for suspected murder, you're not getting In-N-Out Burger for me. We're getting peanut butter crackers at a gas station. That's what you're getting. Like, In-N-Out Burger, people go all the way to the West Coast just for In-N-Out Burger.
Sounds amazing.
Right?
I'll get that tonight, actually.
Pretty good. It's for animal style.
Oh, yeah, on everything, too. And then, so what are the limits of his order? Like, can he get a milkshake, too?
He got a milkshake.
Can he get a large? He got a milkshake.
He got a milkshake.
Wow.
I want to say it was vanilla. I didn't actually write it down, but I'm pretty positive it's vanilla milkshake, which if he ordered a vanilla milkshake, he deserves to be in jail forever. What? You get a chocolate milkshake, you weirdo?
Yeah.
Come on.
You can also get the Neapolitan milkshake. You can get them all three of them.
Now you're just talking crazy. My one time, I worked for a short period of time, and I think I've told listeners this. I worked for a short period of time at a pumpkin festival.
Oh.
This was while I was in high school, Mike. And at the pumpkin festival, they had an ice cream parlor on the farm.
That's a fact.
And one of our deals of working there was you got free ice cream every night when you left. And what I did, Mike, I would take the Moose Tracks.
I love Moose Tracks.
Yeah, the Moose Tracks, the Belgian chocolate, and the chocolate chip cookie dough, and put it all into a milkshake.
Nice.
Oh my God, it was so good, Mike. It was
chocolate suicide.
It was, and I love dying that way.
Awesome.
Let me tell you.
Isn't that what they call? Like when you go to a soda machine
all
and you hit a little. Isn't that called a suicide, right?
Yeah, they got a couple of names for it, but definitely one of them is suicide. That was always the name that we had at like basketball camp when people would do it. Oh, you doing a suicide? You know it, bro. And then some kids would try to act like it was actually better, like if they mixed Coke and Mountain Dew together, and you're like, no, it's weird. What are you drinking?
It's
not good. Anyways, Mike, got another story here. Have you heard of the idea of raw dogging a plane flight?
Huh?
No.
Now, I'm sure you've heard of raw dogging other things.
Of course.
Mike, this is the concept, though. Raw dogging a plane flight is the concept that you go onto the plane and you don't do anything. You don't read a book. You don't listen to music. You don't use your phone. You just sit there.
Word.
Yeah. I have heard of this.
Now, I don't like the term raw dogging because for all of you Seinfeld fans out there, this isn't anything new. It should be called putty flying, after the character David Putty. Because when him and Elaine are flying back from Europe, that's what he does. He just sits there and it irritates the out of Elaine. So this should properly be called putty flying.
Putty flying.
But regardless, Mike, the reason that I bring it up, there are several articles out there, including the one that I read from the New Yorker, that are warning folks this isn't the best idea, especially for your health. Doctors and health professionals are actually saying it can be bad for your health, Mike.
What? How? You're just sitting there. You're not doing anything different.
It can raise blood pressure. It can basically cause anxiety spells. A lot of other things, Mike.
Why? Just because it's so hard to do? It's just so hard not to do anything?
That's the thing, though, Mike. To me...
you think too much about the
Exactly.
I got you.
And to me, that's the thing, is it's always a risk-reward situation. What is the benefit of doing? And I got to tell you, nothing. It doesn't make you more mentally tough. It doesn't make you any stronger. If you want to show how tough you are, how about instead of flying from New York to LA, the next time you walk? Then I'll be impressed.
There we go.
Hey, I raw dogged that trip. You barefoot walked all the way from New York. You know it. Took me 7 months. Got here. Then that's impressive. Staring at the back of a seat, you're just being dumb. Come on.
Yeah.
Read a book. It's so much more fun. Watch a movie. That's even more fun. Come on.
Podcast, book, and movie all at the same time. Also an option.
Oh, trust me. That's usually who I'm sitting beside on a plane, Mike, is the person that's got 37 things going. And then every now and then will give me the elbow like, right? What? What am I watching? I don't know. Mike, I've got a pretty stunning headline from Daily Mail. Here we go. Quote, scientists predict Earth days could become 25 hours long as our moon drifts away. My God, Mike. Let me just read this article really quick and see when this is going to happen. Researchers predicted that days on our planet could eventually become 25 hours long, but noted that it would take 200 million years.
Word.
I don't know. Time flies. Like tomorrow.
Exactly.
Employers are already like, how could we take advantage of this now?
Exactly. So, listeners, just remind yourself, in 200 million years, you're going to need to say 25/7. You don't want to look stupid when you're 200 million years old. People are like, oh my God, what a grandpa. He's still saying 24/7. That was so 200 million years ago. God. Just make sure you're up to date, listeners. I mean,
we still have 7 days, though.
Yeah.
Obviously, the moon pulling us.
Yes.
Okay.
Still got 7 days, just 25
Still
hours.
7 days.
And they mentioned, Mike, that, not surprisingly, like 1 billion years ago, a day was like 18 hours. Yeah.
Neat.
So I like it getting longer. I'm optimistic, but I don't think I'm going to see 25. I don't think I'm going to get that one. And not 25 years old, listeners. I've already passed that. So in your face, I'm talking about 25 hours. Mike, I've got a headline from Inc. Magazine. Inc. Magazine. Here we go. Quote, I just binged 60 hours of a podcast on harrowing survival stories. It's changed me as a leader.
Nope.
First of all, I got to say, Mike, I don't love how they left the name of the podcast out of their title. That's a real turd move, you know? So any listeners out there that are wondering, the podcast is Real Survival Stories. That's the name of the podcast.
Neat.
Second, I realize that what we're currently saying is being made into a podcast, but I can confidently say nothing you ever hear on a podcast will change you as a leader. You know what really happened when you binge 60 hours on a podcast of harrowing survival stories? You got 60 hours older.
That's a fact.
That's about it. You did not learn anything as a leader that all of a sudden the next time the fire alarm goes off, you're going to be like, get behind me, everyone. I know what to do. Get the out of here. Come on, man. Ridiculous.
Starts a flint. Starts a little flint.
I know
fire.
what. Here we go. There we go. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to start peeing your pants like all the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here.
They pee into a bottle, though, and try to drink it.
I'll drink
on their
this
way
later.
out.
Don't worry. Anyways, Mike, we are going to take a break. We are going to hear from our guest. This is none other than Skyler Acord right here on the Doc G Show. And we are back here on the Doc G Show. Spinnaker Radio, WSKRLP 95.5 FM in Jacksonville, Florida. Mike, what do the listeners need to do?
Well, Doc G, if the listeners feel like the show is a positive way to waste their time, they should please subscribe to the show on Apple Podcast. We are on Spotify, killing it on YouTube, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts. It is a cost-effective way to support the show. And if the listeners are feeling extra generous, they should leave us a 5-star.
Amen. Mike, I don't think we got any 5 stars this week, which was sad. No more 5-star listens, you know? Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay. We got more coming in the future. I can feel it. I can feel it.
For sure.
And speaking of those 5-star listeners, Mike, we need to thank the 5-star listeners.
Yes, we
Now,
do.
as you know, I've screwed up since I've started rearranging these names. So we're going to see how bad it is here now that we have a new name in front. Here we go. Shout out to Radford, Virginia, Gainesville, Florida, Frankfurt, Germany, Anoka, Minnesota, Ashburn, Virginia, Piracai, Brazil, San Diego, California, Dublin, Ireland, Boardman, Oregon, Genoa, Italy, Richards, Texas, Barcelona, Spain, Winfield, West Virginia, Biloxi, Mississippi, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Peoria, Illinois, Katy, Texas, Toms River, New Jersey, Olive Branch, Mississippi, Asheville, North Carolina, Los Angeles, California, Spartanburg, South Carolina, Athens, Georgia, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Chicago, Illinois, Boyne, Virginia, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Columbia, I stumbled at the end. Columbus, Ohio, Jacksonville, Florida, Columbia, South Carolina. There we go. I thought it was so good, but then I took a breath and I got lightheaded and I just screwed up, Mike. Just screwed up. Regardless, thank you, listeners.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
We appreciate all of you. It's a fantastic group there. And all the long haulers. I mean, just the Ashburn, Virginias, the Radford, Virginias, the Fort Lauderdale, Floridas. You guys are newer, but you know, just all of you. Thank you for listening. By the way, Google isn't lying to me about their advertising, Mike. My brother let me know. He was on YouTube the other day, and a big Doc G logo came up and was pointing him there. And I was like, yes! Way to go, Google. And I was like, did you click on it, Matt? And he's like, no, I don't give a about your show. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. Thanks. Actually, I'm lying. That was a joke, guys. He did. He said he clicked on it, but then it went to our website, and he was like, oh, I thought it was going to take me to his YouTube page. I don't want to go to his website. And then he clicked off of it. So I had to pay for his click. But, you know, whatever. Anyways, Mike, 4-star listens. Woo! We got some good ones here. We've got some good ones. First off, Santa Clara, California. My Lord, the listens from Santa Clara.
That's right.
Santa Clara, it's right up there, you know, in the San Jose area, right on the bay. Shout out to Santa Clara. I mean, they were close to matching Florida by themselves with the listens. Hundreds of listens from Santa Clara. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's
Fremont,
awesome.
California, right up there, right up the road from Santa Clara, and Fremont. One more week. and you guys will be a part of the exclusive 5-star listeners. So keep it going, Fremont. Keep it going. Etobicoke, they're back on the list. Etobicoke, near Toronto, Mike. Etobicoke, Canada.
Cool.
Yeah,
Etobicoke.
it's nice. Austin, Texas. They had more listens this week, Mike. So I'm guessing it was Glenn Powell, and I'm guessing now Willie Nelson and Matthew McConaughey as well. So It's a good-looking group right there. All right. You know? Anyways, Birmingham, United Kingdom. I think we're still riding high from the UB40 show. Shout out to Birmingham. I love your guys' accents. They make me happy. Yes! Atlanta, Georgia. Woo! Guess they were pretty excited to hear me give them shout out for their good cooking. You do, guys. You guys have great cooking. New Orleans. Speaking of great cooking, thanks for listening to New Orleans. Yes. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. There we go. Florence, Italy. And lastly, Tewksbury, Massachusetts.
Sweet.
Tewksbury. Yeah. Never been, Mike. You ever been to Tewksbury? It's not too far out of Boston, so you may have traversed it at some point in time.
Yeah.
Mike, real quick, one other thing about, our social media and everything. Sad thing I realized, and it took me 8 months to realize this. I was posting a video over the weekend on YouTube, and I was looking at one of our previous posts, and I was like, the Doc Show? I forget to put the G in there? And then I realized, Mike, for the previous 8 months, our name on YouTube has been the Doc Show without any G.
Where at? Like in
the actual title, the Doc Show.
Oh, wow. Oh,
now, in
funny.
all all the videos and everything, I have the Doc G Show. But the actual name was just the Doc Show. Don't worry, listeners. I corrected it. We are now the Doc G Show with a proper capital G. So, disaster averted. We still had almost 500 people follow us, even though they were like, what the the Doc Show? I don't know. They'll follow it. Why not? Anyways, Mike, we've got one more thing before we go to break. We are going to have a potential new 5-star listener, as I have heard. If I'm hearing this correct from you, Mike, what is this news you have for us?
Doc G, we are pregnant.
Okay, I was about to say, you and me? How did that happen?
You and
I
are
magic.
Multiple shows.
That is fantastic, Mike. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Now, are you going to find out the sex of the baby?
No, we're going to keep it a surprise.
I love it. So no stupid gender reveal.
No
That's
bullshit
right.
like that.
I love it.
We're going to set a forest on fire.
Amen, Mike. I love it. And they're going to pop out and you're going to go, whoa, game time decision. It's a lady or it's a dude. We got to think about this. Or maybe you don't even do it. Maybe you're like, you know what? We're not even
We're gonna
we're not even game planning for that. Whatever they're gonna do. I love it.
Nope. You're gonna wear black and white for the rest of your
only thing
non-gender.
The only thing that you are deciding for them is they will be listening to the Doc G Show.
That's right.
For show.
That's pretty much it, man. Well, that's
right
exciting. 9 months from now. Well, a little less. Like 8 months from now. 7 months, 7.5. You will have a baby.
Like January.
My God, Mike, that is
December or January.
If I were you, I would be breaking out in cold chills and sweats right now. That's how anxious I would be. Not to freak you out, but that would be me because I can't handle any changes whatsoever.
You know, I've gone through the
You've already accepted it.
It's now I'm just like, you know what? We're doing it. We're just
now be honest
do
with
it,
me. Did you have a little therapy about this? Like, did you have to bring it up in the therapy sessions?
I've talked about it in therapy, but he just gives me like all kinds of advice because he lives around here. He gives me advice on like schools to take them to.
Wow, look at that.
Like yeah. So
I thought you were going to do the opposite. I thought you were going to be like, I'm freaking out. I thought you were going to bring it up in therapy, and he was going to be like, I don't care about that. Talk about yourself. That is not. Wait until the baby comes, then we can talk about it, okay?
Yeah. How do I abandon my family, but not too much all at once?
Not make a big deal about it,
gradually?
Right? Do I just come home like once every other day? Hey, remember? And then just slowly fade it out.
I'm going out for cigarettes. You don't smoke cigarettes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant Cheerios.
Going out to gamble. Going out to get some Kelsey cereal. Can't find it anywhere. Oh, yeah.
By the way, listeners, just let everybody know. Me and Mike talked about it. If you were looking for the Kelsey cereal, which, of course, Mike's new child will be a fan of for the rest of their life.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The Kelsey cereal will not be out until September. So don't try to get it.
September.
So until then, you're going to have to get a bag, get some Reese's Puffs, get some Cinnamon Toast Crunch, get some Lucky Charms, and just pour them all three in the bag, and then you'll have the Kelsey mix.
I wonder what the ratio will be. Will there be one with more ratio?
Oh, so you're saying it's going to be a patent blend. They're going to be like, we're not telling you how much we put in of each one of these. You got to get, and then it's going to be like a 60-30-10 split. And you're like, oh, whoa, this is getting crazy. They only put 10% Reese's Puffs. Mine, oh, God, I can't take it. It's crazy. Oh, man. Anyways.
Hey, Doc G, I do want to say, though, just so you guys know, the listeners of the Doc G show, literally nobody in my life really knows
Listeners,
this. I mean,
this is on you.
Nobody.
So if you want to blow up Mike's spot, tell everybody that you know. Just let them know. Like, hey, Mike Charette, co-host of the Doc G show, comedian, he's going to have a kid. Just thought you should know.
But no social media announcement, nothing like that. This is the only social media that we'll find out about this.
You are special, listeners.
Y'all, this is a special thing to
Amen.
me, and I just feel like you guys should know.
Amen. I appreciate it, Mike. And the listeners appreciate it. And you know what? When the kid comes, they'll appreciate it.
They will.
Anyways.
I'll force it on them.
So that they hate it. So then in 5 years, they're like, oh, God, it's that loud, annoying guy that Dad always talks to. Jesus. Anyways, Mike, we need to move on to go to our fantastic interview here with Skyler Acord. We're going to take a break. We will be right back with none other than Skyler Acord right here on the Doc G Show. Welcome back to the show, everybody. We are happy to have an amazing musician, amazing bassist, and word on the street, one of the best Super Smash Bros. Players you will ever meet. He just released his newest single, It's You That I'm Missing. We have none other than Mr. Skyler Acord. Sky, what's happening?
Yo, who you been talking to? How do you know I got hands?
It's out there, man. I've heard things. I mainly heard things from the Issues fans that got backstage as far as playing you in the tournaments back in the day.
Yep, that sounds right. There's definitely some salty feelings out there.
Well, I gotta say, people are digging. It's You That I'm Missing. That's always got to be a good feeling, right?
Yeah, totally. You never know, especially when, I guess in the position I'm in where like people know me for this band or that band, and I'm like breaking off to do my solo thing. Like, how's it gonna like come across? But it seems like people love this one.
Yeah.
Like Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving the response.
I mean, strong response from what I saw. I mean, the on social media, thousands of likes on the videos associated with it. On Spotify, already thousands of listens there. So, looking strong, man. Looking strong. Let's take the listeners back. I want to build up to the new stuff. So you're from the Seattle area. And I just a super musical family from what I got. Your mom was a singer, your dad is trumpet player, your sister plays music, your brother plays music. Music was everywhere. Then you went to high school, a musical high school, then you went to college for music. You couldn't get enough.
Yeah, I kind of drive my wife crazy. I never stop.
I mean, like, when do you remember? I'm guessing in a household that full of music, you probably don't really even remember like a start of music. Do you remember like the first, like, you playing something?
Well, I remember realizing that I cared about it because I didn't always care about music. It was always around, but it was just like, it's like your mom or your dad goes to work and comes back. It doesn't matter what they do. You're not interested in it when you're a kid,
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, like, there were a few times where my mom would drag me to a gig and I'd be like, oh, I'm going to be bored all night or whatever. And I would like just hang out with the guitar player, this guy named Art, or the bass player who ended up becoming my bass teacher, Osama. And what was cool to me that I'm realizing now is, to me, being a musician was just like another job, because all these people that my mom was hiring, like, they were teaching during the day or like doing gigs at night or working in a music store or whatever. Like, their only job was music. There were plenty of ways to make ends meet within that industry. So to me, it was just like, yeah, that's what I want to do. Like, why not? It's just like being a plumber, but there's a bass guitar involved.
pick up my case and go to work. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I did hear, even though you had that, you did maybe there was a little hint of becoming a herpetologist at some point in time.
Well, you've done your research. Yes.
Yeah, man. I mean, are you still into reptiles now, or you've gone completely away from that?
Well, I still love them, and I'm still passionate. Anytime I go to the zoo, I'm like, where's the reptile house, right?
Yeah.
And I still, I used to be obsessed. Like, I know so much. But being on tour all the time, you kind of need your significant other to, like, take care of the dogs and stuff. And she's not a snake person, so I don't know that I could ask her to do that if I'm gone for like a couple weeks.
Have to get a snake sitter. Yeah, that'd
exactly.
be tough. That'd be tough. Well, during my undergrad, I had an ecology class. I went on a field trip where I went with a herpetologist into the Everglades. That was pretty awesome. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're Florida, right?
Yeah. It was pretty exciting. It was because we had to go at night too. So we're like, wading through the waters with our spotlights looking for these snakes. Pretty cool.
That sounds like my dream. When I was my grandma used to live in Seffner, if you know where that is. And when I was a kid, I used to love going out there because, just lizards everywhere. It's not like that in Washington.
No, yeah. We got overran with some invasive species, but I digress. Let's get back to music. So you started on guitar before bass.
I did.
Were you playing any were there any like piano or anything before guitar, or was it you jumped to guitar first?
I started playing piano when I was like 5. My mom got me lessons, and I was bored out of my mind. I hated it. I was like, I want to be Jimi Hendrix. Get me a guitar. And eventually they did get me a guitar, but I could not keep track of a pick to save my life. So what can you play with no pick? You can play bass. So
that's true. That's true. That is true. I mean, I heard you were a big fan of Jimmy. Do you remember where you first heard Jimmy? I mean, he's obviously another Seattle man. So
yeah. Well, yeah, it's impossible to escape him growing up in Seattle or the Washington area in general. But my dad was obsessed with his live recordings. And now that I'm a little bit older, I'm realizing how kind of like autistic coded my dad is, because he would get obsessed with something, burn like 100 CDs of it, like 100, literally like 20 or 30 burned CDs full of different versions of the same cover song type of thing. And one of his hyperfixations was all the live Jimmy stuff. So when I was a kid, I was just surrounded by it.
Yeah. I mean, something to get fixated on. That's a good one. That's a good one.
For sure.
Now I heard you say at one point once you started playing bass, before you started playing bass, you were at your church and there was a choice between singing and playing bass, and you didn't want to sing, so you went with bass there. Did that go into that idea there of playing? Yeah.
Who you been talking to? But yeah, that's exactly what happened. I could kind of, I could hold a tune, like just nothing special.
Mm-hmm.
And I could basically play like Smoke Over Water on bass, right? So I was about the same level at both, and it was a youth group thing, so no one was really that sick anyways. And they were like, well, we need somebody in the band. You interested? And I was like, well, I'm definitely not singing, so I guess I'm playing bass.
What was it? I mean, I'm guessing now that obviously been a while since then, but now that you're releasing your own music where you're singing, you got over that feel, that vibe at some point. Was it more of like you didn't think you sounded good, or that you just didn't like doing it in front of other people?
Yeah, it was the fear. I was just terrified. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess, stage fright kind of has always been a thing for me. Not anymore, because I had to really work on it. But
yeah, at some points where there's been some big crowds. Yeah. I mean, speaking of that, so you go into the band Issues, and was that your first band, like first like real deal band that you went into, or did you have some bands like garage bands and whatnot in high school?
I was in more bands than I can count, but there were two bands that actually did stuff.
Okay.
One was Forest of Gray. Oh, the balloons.
Yeah, I know. That was nice. There's two bands. Wee balloons.
Right. Yeah, one was a progressive black metal band, like post rock, just hipster people, like, if you know kind of stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And everybody there kind of had to pick between their day job or going on tour. And then Issues was the first band that I was in that actually people really cared about outside of our local scene, going on tour. At that point, even selling CDs, because I've been around long enough to sell CDs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What now? So you go into Issues, and so this is like, had you already graduated college, or was this at the end of college that you started playing with Issues?
So here's an interesting story that I'm surprised you didn't already find.
Oh, I didn't find it? Oh, I failed.
I don't know if I've told this much, though, but basically my story with Issues is my brother, Ty, who goes by Lo-File, used to go by Scout. A lot of Issues fans will remember him as our DJ. Mm-hmm. He started the band.
Right.
And they went through a couple different bass players, none of which could play the parts that I recorded on the EP, because I was just like, yo, put me in, like, let me record on this thing. And eventually they just kind of ran out of options. And for some reason, they didn't want me in the band. Ty did, but, just something about, like, I didn't have the look or something. I don't know what they were smoking.
You're like, hey, I look a lot like my brother. Come on, man.
Right. But yeah, eventually I was in LA, and it was after my second year of college, and my only prospect was when my brother went off to tour with Issues, I was going to borrow his car and try to get a gig, because you can't, it's hard to do any of that without a car in LA.
It's true.
And on the way back from the airport, the axle fell off the car. And then when I got back, my living situation completely collapsed. So I was like, this just sucks. I should just probably like go home and try again later.
I give up.
Yeah. I was just going to like, lick my wounds and try again in a year or something. And my parents bought me a flight. And on the layover, Ty calls me and is like, "Hey, you want to do this band thing still? Our bass player just quit." It's insane timing.
Yeah. Yeah. Very fortuitous. Very just right there. Well, now, obviously, you guys had a good amount of success. It wasn't, I mean, for folks in the music industry, it was a good amount of success. The kind of success that you can tour on, you can go around the world with. Fast forward to 2020, you're getting ready to go on tour with Issues again. You've been with the band for like 6-ish years, somewhere around there. And you've got the new album, Beautiful Oblivion, first tour date, March 13th, 2020. And of course, everything shuts down.
Yeah, that was literally D-Day, like for live music.
Yeah. and then a couple months later, you have to fire your singer. Like,
right.
What is going on in your head at that point? Because in less than a year, you've made this U-turn from, hey, we're still on this upward trajectory. We're going out on tour. We've got another album. Who knows what it will do? To, I can't leave my house, and it seems like my band's over.
Yeah, I feel like we got pandemic pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I was just like trying to re-strategize my, getting to know myself as an artist and as a person who now didn't have any distractions. I couldn't go on tour. I couldn't play music. I could not be my job. So I had to understand what I wanted out of life, out of art, etc. Just all the stuff we all dealt with. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know if I was ever going to play live music again. I was hoping I would. And that's where a lot of my solo stuff came from, is just trying to figure all that out, to be honest.
Nice. Now, how long would you say it took you in that time to actually start thinking that way of like, you know what? This is going to be my stuff. I am going to release this. Because obviously you've been writing things basically since you've been a musician. I mean, in the band, before the band, we know every artist is sitting around there going, oh, this would be a cool riff. Oh, this is a cool thing. But like, when did you start saying, I'm going to put this together and this is actually going to be me?
I actually started writing stuff with the intent of it being under my name a little bit before the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And it was basically just a collection of stuff I wrote for Issues that didn't make the cut, that I still liked. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really have any intention. I'm sure I thought I had the intention of putting it out, but there's no motivator like your entire life kind of getting uprooted like that. So I was just like, you know what? Like, no one's going to make it happen. If I don't make it happen, let me just pour the gas on and see what's good.
Nice. Now, would you say the biggest hurdle for you to release that music was sort of feeling comfortable with your singing voice, or was it just other things?
It took a lot of time to understand what I wanted it to sound like, because over the years I've just played so much music. I listened to all sorts of different stuff. So it kind of goes back to that thing of just kind of like discovering yourself and figuring out what like the central point is. Mm-hmm. Because I could have started a thing and made it a black metal band, because I love black metal. I have a lot of experience writing it. I could have made it a pop project. It probably would have sucked, but I have a lot of fun doing pop. Like figuring out the kind of R&B plus post-punk plus dream pop thing took a lot of me writing bad songs and going, I don't want to do that. I want to do this other thing. Let me try this. Let me try that. Well, so it took the whole time, basically.
I was going to ask that, because you have those sort of three elements, and I've heard you mention those three elements. And I think it like, if you know music and you've got your listening ears on when one of your songs comes on, I think those elements are pretty easy to say, yeah, I get them in there. It's all thrown in here. I can hear that post-punk stuff. I can hear that R&B stuff, and I can hear the metal elements in there. Was that, like you said, when you were writing this stuff, was that like a conscious thing when you started and you were like, okay, here's what I'm going to try: post-punk, metal, R&B. Let's put that in there. Or were you just writing things and you were like, this is what I'm getting out of it. This is the palette.
The first one, it was actually a really conscious decision to try. Like, literally, I had a whiteboard. I wrote the 3 things at the top, you know? And one thing I credit Ty with, so Low File, is, you know, I'll have ideas. I'll have tons of ideas. I can't stop them, but getting them to the finish line is really tough for me, and fully realizing them. And a lot of this stuff I finished with Low File, and he kind of helped me keep track of where I started. Like, you know, we'd have a song that was really heavy on the R&B or the post-punk, and he would be like, well, where's the metal? Let's try some like tremolo, like evil sounding guitars, or like, you know, some other element.
He was making sure the levels of each contributing style was there. We need to
exactly
increase this. We need to increase that. I like that.
Yeah, and his background, you know, he stays hip to a lot of stuff too. Like, his background is just as diverse as mine, just probably like slightly skewed towards different styles. So he's probably the best person I could have even imagined to like work on any of this stuff with.
Nice. So you're working on your own music, and in 2021 you're walking through Target and 21 Pilots manager calls you. Now 21 Pilots, they are, you could say they came through the same vein of music as Issues. And they had, of course, this meteoric rise of success. I mean, you know, I forget what they're at right now as far as Spotify, but it's like,
it's always going up.
32 million monthly subscribers or something like that. Did you have, I mean, I know you came out, like I said, you came out of the same vein, but did you have a little trouble believing that's who it was when they call you?
Oh, 100%. I thought it was a scam.
I think I would too. I think I would. I mean, what did they say? Just like, hey, are you like? Did you have to try out, or were you just automatically in, or what?
I did not have to try out, and I was a little confused by it. I was like, how do y'all know me? And I started to put it together that in 2014, Issues played, I don't know if we played the APMAs, but we were nominated for something. And 21 Pilots played the APMAs. And Michael Bond, our screamer at the time, was a huge 21 Pilots fan way before it was cool.
Yeah. And
he hit them up and was like, hey, you guys are playing. Like, is there any way I could get involved? Like, we're nominated. It might be just a cool award show thing or something. And they did car radio together, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And I have to assume, because I never just straight up sat Tyler Joseph down and asked him. But,
yeah, like, where did I come from?
Right, but I have to assume that's where he became aware of Issues. And then, you know, putting it together, I'm realizing just 7 years later, they wrote an album that sounded like it needed a band to back it up live. And he's like, do I know any bass players? What's that guy doing? And apparently it was nothing. So...
I mean, that I don't know. That would give me a little bit of swag there myself if I find out that they want me on the tour and you don't even have to try out. It's like, no, we know. You got it.
Honestly, I was so just shocked and excited to play music in any sort of setting like that. And then also the elevation of it from Issues to 21 Pilots. I think I was too giddy to feel cool about it.
Well, like you were saying, there is this elevation of arena. I mean, you've done great international tours, like we were saying with Issues, but 21 Pilots, this is a whole different stratosphere. I mean, this is arenas that we're talking about. When you think about going on that tour, what were some of the most like eye-opening differences when you went out that you were like, whoa, this is not the tours that I am used to?
Well, yeah, there were a couple really interesting things. One is the crew were all really, really professional and like it was just huge. Like it was something like 60 or 70 people as a touring party, and a lot of, it's kind of like lonely a little bit. Like it felt like a construction site. Like literally there's a hard hat zone every morning when you walk in, So I had to kind of make my own friends, and I definitely did. Like I got to know a lot of people on the tour. And then the other thing that I really noticed that I actually really learned a lot from was there was a clear focus in mission anytime anyone did anything. So it's like everybody had their specific departments, their specific jobs, their specific, just responsibilities. And if anybody else was failing, they'd go and help them out or whatever. But it was very segmented. And the only way that's possible, I realized, is there's got to be a ton of trust from, peer to peer, and then a ton of trust that the person at the top is not like dropping the ball. So it just because, excuse me, it's kind of a testament to Tyler Joseph's and Josh Dunn's leadership style, I guess, in general. It's just like they know exactly what's going on almost at every level. So there's no excuse for anybody else down the ladder to kind of like goof off, and everybody's excited to work because they know exactly what they're doing. They know they're not going to get like, oh, surprise, you got to take over for this other person who's like dropping the ball or whatever. And that was really cool. And especially after I found kind of my tribe with like, getting to know people and making friends and stuff, it really felt like both very functional and very personable.
Nice. Did you, I mean, obviously it's probably a whirlwind, but do you remember, does any gig or any arena stand out that you were just like, oh, that was awesome, I would do that again?
Oh, totally. Well, Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle. And
Homecoming.
Yep. And to the initiated or the locals, that's Key Arena. It doesn't matter what they try to name it. That's Key Arena.
The original home of the Supersonics.
Yep. And actually, that was kind of a crazy homecoming because my mom used to sing the national anthem for the Sonics all the time.
Nice.
So I'd been under those bleachers plenty of times just as a kid, but like I didn't, I was like 5, 4, whatever. So it kind of felt like a dream to me.
Yeah.
And then my grandma got to come, who's still alive and kicking at 93, 92 or 93. She might have just had a birthday.
So she had crossed like 90 at that point.
Yeah. And
wow.
She's still kicking, she's sharp as ever. But getting her out of the house, like that's.
I was about to say, I don't know many 90-year-olds that'd be like, no, I want to hear that and see these. I most 90-year-old folks that I know would be like, I'm not dealing with that many people. No,
right.
Not. Hats off to Grandma for that.
It was sick.
What was your favorite 21 Pilots song to play live with them?
Probably Jumpsuit.
Nice.
It's a very, like, 21 Pilots fans, all, if they learn bass, they learn that song first.
Yeah.
It's like not the hardest bass line, but it goes the hardest, and like the whole song starts with a bass. It's just like literally like it felt like I joined.
That was
Deep
your
Purple.
time to shine.
Right. It literally felt like I joined Deep Purple, and then now it's time for Smoke on the Water. You know what I mean? Like it's like just iconic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, now, so as you're touring with 21 Pilots, you release Knew It All Along. Like that comes out while you're going out on all these shows, which I mean, man, that had to be a bunch of stuff going on for you at one point in time. You're playing these massive crowds, and all of a sudden you're releasing your own music for the first time.
Right.
It's got to be a lot going on in your head at once there.
Yeah, for sure. I think the logic was just like anytime I'm working for somebody, I know it's not going to last forever. I don't know how long it's going to last. But it's being finite is the only constant. So I wanted to catch the momentum while I could of just 21 Pilots fans like checking me out, and I appreciate that so many of them are still like checking me out and keeping up.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was kind of a lot, but no regrets.
Well, so you released the EP, True Viridian came out in 2023, and then you go on your own tour. Now you switch from 21 Pilots tour to your own tour, that's a big change. It's
Big time.
not the glitz and glamour that you had going with 21 Pilots, but it's got to be awesome in some ways because, now it's your show. So, like, what was that switch like going from those huge, shows to the smaller venues, but now it's your product?
Well, yeah, it's funny because I feel like from the outside in, it's probably based on what I post. Honestly, it feels very much like when I'm in 21 Pilots mode, that's all I'm doing. And then when I'm in my mode, that's all I'm doing.
Right.
But, 21 Pilots, like we had a lot of time off. We'd play like 3 or 4 shows in a row, have 3 days home, or like, a month off here and there or whatever. All in between that, I'm playing smaller shows with friends. And it's kind of funny because going in and out of that world, it's like literally when I'm with 21 Pilots, it's like every night we're at a Four Seasons. We're like flying on private jets every once in a while. We're getting like police escorts and they shut down an entire freeway so we can get to the show. Just like ridiculous.
That's nice.
Yeah, just ridiculous stuff. And I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. And then I fly back to like my 2-bedroom apartment that, it's like, yeah, it's sick. But it's like you kind of get whiplash from like economic bracket.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I got to doing my stuff, it wasn't anything I wasn't used to because I've roughed it so much with issues and everything. But it was a little easier to stomach because it's me, It's like I'm building something for myself and I'm not splitting it like 5 or 6 ways.
You got to the venue and you were like, guys, where's the bodyguards? I normally have like 5 and that's just looking for one. Well, now you've got a lot more music coming out. Now I hear you've got 2 more EPs sort of in the line there. You got True Vanity, True Violence.
That's right.
Now, is that I'm guessing is the music completely finished on those and it's sort of a strategy of releasing, or are you still polishing those?
So True Vanity is 99% finished. I just have to, finishing touches, all that. True Violence, I have strong contenders. I know what I want the EP to sound like, and I have a bunch of demos. I just got to like curate the ones. And I'm kind of excited to get through True Violence because in curating very carefully these 3 EPs, True Viridian, True Vanity, and True Violence, I have a ton of demos that I really, really think are awesome, but don't necessarily match the vibe of any of these EPs.
Okay.
So at this point, I'm hyper-focused on True Violence, but then after that, I'm like, oh man, I can't wait because it's just going to be like a single every month, or 2 weeks or something, or like maybe it's a record. I don't know, but I've just so much backlogged.
Nice. Now, I'm guessing since you have this EP in mind and these the 3 names that obviously have this continuity but differences to them of True Vanity, True Violence, and True Viridian. What was the concept of why you needed to split them up?
Well, the idea was True Viridian is kind of my take on just discovering myself through the art that I make. It's like instead of True Blue, it's like True Viridian. It's like in between, and it's kind of also a response to just kind of growing up biracial, half black, half white. My mom was playing Stevie Wonder. My dad was playing Jimi Hendrix, and that develops into like, all this like extreme metal I'm into, and then all the like really underground R&B I'm into. So my whole life has just been really, really like
blurred.
Yeah, exactly. And True Viridian was kind of that, just taking these backgrounds and just mixing them together and seeing what happens. And True Vanity is basically like the idea is like one side of it, and then True Violence is the other side. So True Viridian is like our gray, or in this case, Viridian. And Vanity's green, Violence is blue.
Now, is that going to mirror those differences in music? Are we going to hear one that's a lot more like metal based and one that's a lot more R&B based, or?
Yeah, so True Vanity is, based on what is out already, you could probably kind of assume that the vocal is going to be really prominent. And I say assume because the last three I have to like, tighten up. But yeah, it's like very R&B and it's still dark and like post-punky and still metal in its own ways, but it's kind of delivered in a smooth sort of like catchy way.
Nice.
I guess wavy for lack of a better adjective. And then True Violence, all I know about it is I need it to be more intense. I need it to be a lot more intense, a lot darker. And just knowing me, when I want something to be intense and dark, it's probably going to be more metal. I can't commit to it yet because nothing's done, but that's the assumption.
I gotcha. Well, now, I mean, along with that, I mean, you're just like you said, you're sort of just figuring this out as far as your own solo stuff. I mean, this is its own baby here coming out, and have you sort of decided that is going to be your 3 color palettes, is sort of metal, post-punk, and R&B always, or could you at some point in time throw some other things in there?
Yeah, well, I'll never say never. I just know right now it feels very right. And every once in a while I'll try one and it feels a little too like poppy or feels a little too like rock or something. And it'll be like, this doesn't feel totally like what I'm doing right now. And I just know it when I know it, Yeah. But I'll never say never. I love just, I guess, trying different things and doing different projects. I'm doing a death metal band with my brother, for example, just for fun.
Who hasn't done a death metal band just for fun? I think we've all been down that line before.
Of course.
How long has that been going on, the death metal band?
It's kind of been going on for, I would say, maybe about a year, and it's called No Trace.
Nice.
And basically where we're at is a bunch of demos. It's just like he's really busy, I'm really busy, so we're like kind of like creaking along.
That's the side gig. That's the side hustle there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because it'll be like he'll hit me like, "Yo, you want to come over after my session today and write some death metal?" I'll be like, "Sure," and then we'll join up. And I'll have been doing like a pop rock session, and he'll be doing like an R&B session or something, and then we're just like, all right, let's get out like what we really want to make today.
Let's do the aggression. Here we go. Here we go. Well, now, do we, I guess, sort of last question here, do we have any timeline for the other 2 EPs? Do you have the time that you want to get True Vanity and True Violence out there to the masses?
Yeah, basically as fast as I can get them done. I'm supposed to turn in the next single this Friday.
Okay.
But we'll see. Because the day after, I'm actually flying to Jacksonville, of all places.
There we go. What are we going down here for?
There's a local reggae band called Cloud9 Vibes. And they just like cold emailed me a while ago. We wrote some pretty awesome songs. So I'm just going to go down and finish them.
I may have to... I may have to check. I might have got an email from their publicist actually telling me to check that band out. I'm gonna have to go back and look now, because now, I mean, if you're involved, I wanna be involved with this band as well. But Sky, I don't want to take up any more of your time. It's been fantastic, and I want to thank you for coming on the show today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's been awesome.
Yeah, listeners, make sure you check out all Skyler's music. It's on all streaming services, of course. Right now, let's take a listen to It's You I'm Missing right here on The Doc G Show. And we are back here on the Doc G Show. Skyler Acord, Mike. My goodness. Now, do you think you would dominate at the old Super Smash Bros. There, Mike?
I don't know. Probably not, man.
Probably not.
Didn't play a lot of Nintendo after.
Yeah. Now, but we were talking though. Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
Now, is that Mario Kart the original on Super Nintendo? Or is that Mario Kart on 64?
Yeah, like 64, GameCube, that Mario Kart.
I'll be honest.
The advanced.
I'll be honest. It's gotten too advanced for me now. Have you played the Switch version?
No, I haven't played Mario Kart, like a new Mario Kart.
Shout out to my bro Brandon. Me and Brandon, we play it every now and then. He kicks my every time.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of things that I'm not doing. Turbo boost and your power sliding on every curve, and I don't do any of that crap. And I'm back in 10th, getting thrown off of the racetrack, and a little clouds picking me up, being like, "You're a loser piece." It's very sad, Mike.
Yeah.
Need to go back to the simple times, the Super Nintendo version, where you have none of those extra controls.
Exactly.
Sound like an 80-year-old right now. Mike, shout out to Skyler Acord, first of all. Thank you for being on the show, Skyler. Hopefully, you can be on the show again real soon. That's what we're hoping. Mike, another thing real quick before we move on. Just a shout out to my friend Lydia. Shout out. Lydia got me this necklace here. You see this necklace?
Pretty cool. What is that?
This is a necklace, literally, from Kenya, Mike.
Sweet.
Yeah. Lydia was in Kenya this summer, and she brought me back this necklace. Now, I told Lydia that I would wear the necklace if she got it from me for me from Kenya, but I didn't know she was going to get me one with a giant spike on it that's like 3 inches long. So when she got me this one, I was like, Lydia, I got to put an asterisk beside the I would wear it part because I don't want to stab myself in the chest with the necklace that I'm wearing. But I do appreciate it, Mike.
Yeah, looks nice. What is that spike? What is that?
I don't know. Hopefully it's something like really wild. Hopefully I'll ask her and she'll be like, it's rhino dung. And I'll be like, oh man, impressive. Dragon tooth would be cooler. Regardless, Mike, enough necklace talk. We need to move on to the fastest growing segment in the world.
Mike's the top 3.
Yes, Mike. I'll also let you know, this came up while I was talking to my brother, this week's topic, and he said your topic was lame for this week. And I was like, hey, there's some fun defenses. He's like, no. What are you going to say, bark? And I was like, I could say bark. That's a pretty good defense, okay? But listeners, if you weren't aware from this week, our topic for this week is top 3 plant defenses. We did animal defenses. Now we're doing plant defenses. Now, Mike, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I do. I have one. I don't know what the plant is, but there was a cactus in the Mojave Desert that I accidentally walked into, and screw that cactus.
Yeah.
The barbs or spikes or whatever, they don't just... They're not just a needle. There's like a reverse barb. So when you try to pull it out of your skin, oh man, it was brutal.
It's like a hook. It's like a fishing hook.
Oh yeah, it's a hook. It's a hook. Yeah,
Yeesh.
it's a hook. Woo. And that was terrible. I don't know what that cactus was. It was very dark. We were stargazing, and I walked into it, and oh man, that was terrible.
That is rough, man.
So that's terrible.
Is that the only one you got there?
That's it. That's all I got. Yeah.
Okay, I've got several, Mike.
This was pretty hard. I mean, that was a hard topic. But yeah, there's some good ones out there.
Here's mine. I've got lithops. Lithops are also known as pebble plants. They look exactly like pebbles to avoid being eaten. That's
my number 2, Doc G.
Boom. There it is. They're pretty cool, Mike.
They are pretty cool.
We're gonna revisit it on your second. Then I won't say anything more. Next on my honorable mention, digitalis. You know digitalis? It's also a medicine. It's also called foxglove. Is it sort of
Oh, I love all of it.
Yeah.
Digitalis,
foxglove,
and foxglove. I think that's cool.
But if it's eaten, it can cause your heart to stop.
Oh.
It will kill you dead, Mike.
Well, we don't want that.
Now, it's also used in small doses, though, as an actual medication. Digitalis is a cardiovascular medication in small doses. Helps with arrhythmias. Now, next one, corn and cotton plants do this. This is really cool. When they are under attack from caterpillars, they send a volatile chemical out into the air, and it attracts a parasitic wasp that come and lay eggs in the caterpillars that are eating the plant, and it kills the caterpillars.
Say what?
Oh gosh.
So the corn and cotton plants literally call in the cavalry, and the cavalry of wasps come in and take care of their dirty business. Yeah.
That's terrible, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty awesome for the plants. It's pretty bad.
For sure.
It's pretty bad
Terrible
if you're
for
a caterpillar, Then lastly, on my honorable mentions, Mike, mimosa plants. Do you know the mimosa plants?
Yeah, that's my number one.
Oh, okay. Well, then I won't explain it anymore.
It's okay.
That's on my honorable mentions. So, my number three would be the tread softly plant. Tread softly plant is in the southeast. It has very poisonous barbs on it, causes a lot of itching. It's also known, Mike, as the finger rot plant.
Ugh.
And also known as the nose burn plant.
Huh?
Who's shoving the plant up their nose? I have no idea where that one came from. I get the finger rot because if you hit it bad enough, you're going to have some bad, some bad ration going on that finger.
Yeah.
But the nose burn? Not sure where that one came from.
Nope.
But it looks like a nasty plant, Mike. I don't want any part of the old tread softly plant.
Tread softly.
I will tread softly around it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Your number 3, Mike.
My number 3, the honey locust thorn tree. You got that one? Did you
Honey
see that?
locust. I didn't see that one.
Okay, so it's central North America.
Okay.
But it can grow almost anywhere. The tree looks like it's just covered in
Yeah, barbs.
almost like that
Yeah,
World War II style
Yeah, I know a honey locust tree.
spikes. Yeah.
Yeah, those are some pretty frightening barbs, though. Yeah.
Yeah, they can grow 2.5 to 8 inches long.
Yeah. I've
Yeah,
been around some honey locust trees, and I got to be
Yeah.
honest. You don't want to run into them.
Yeah, central North America, but like I said, they can grow anywhere.
They definitely can.
Yeah.
And I mean, I might be wrong on this. I have to check it out. But I think most locusts have some form of not that big, not anywhere close to that big. But most locusts have some barbs on them.
Oh, is that like a type of plant?
Yeah,
Locust.
Locust. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's
I guess I feel like maybe I have heard that.
a tree. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Locust.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Okay. Nice. Number 2 for me is the Dieffenbachia. The Dieffenbachia releases calcium oxalate crystals that contain the enzyme rapidase, which can cause paralysis and speech impairment when you eat them. So again, another plant you do not want to eat. If you're Alicia Silverstone, stay away from this plant, Mike.
Huh?
Stay away from it.
She needs to listen to this episode.
Exactly.
Alicia Silverstone.
Since she's such a forager, she needs to make sure she knows what she's eating there. Mike, your number 2. What do you got?
Yeah, lithops, the living stones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're native to southern Africa, and they're a succulent. They're so cute.
They are. They look
cute.
they look like they're from a video game, to be honest, like a
They do look like they're
Mario
video.
game.
Yeah, like really low effort, like plants.
Right
in a video.
Right,
game.
right beside the toadstools. You'll see these
Yeah.
guys that'll pop up. They have a very cartoonish look to them.
They do. They really do. Yeah.
And I mean, it's smart. Like, I mean, that's a pretty wild evolution that they slowly evolved to look like those rocks so that they just blend in. And they're like, hey, nothing to see here but just more rocks. So
Yeah, we're just rocks.
no need to eat us. We're
Yeah.
not tasty. Being a rock and all. Like, just, That's really smart for something that doesn't have a brain. Mike, my number one. The gimpy. The gimpy, Mike. I'm pretty sure we talked about this.
Let me guess. This plant acts like it has broken limbs and
exactly.
It can
I'm
barely
injured.
hold itself together.
Nobody come over here. No, I think
gimpy.
I'm pretty sure the gimpy is what you will be if you touch this thing.
Oh,
yeah,
that's not good.
And I'm pretty sure we talked about this, Mike. It's of course in Australia.
So true.
Of course.
and this plant is part of the nettle family, the stinging nettle family. And the sting, and this is from Britannica Encyclopedia here, the sting can cause excruciating, debilitating pain for months.
Jeez.
Ugh.
People have variously described it as feeling like they are being burned by acid, electrocuted, or squashed by giant hands.
Ooh.
Many people have reported flare-ups of the pain for years afterwards. And there are several accounts of horses that have been hit with the gimpy that are mad with pain that have jumped off of cliffs to their deaths after being stung.
I gotta look this thing up.
Yeah. Girl, come on. And it's actually killed people, Mike, because people have gone into anaphylactic shock after they've been stung by it.
Of course, it looks like such an inviting little leaf.
Yeah.
Not really, though. It actually...
Well, it doesn't look like a horrible leaf.
It got some texture to it that looks pretty scary.
Yeah. But that thing, Mike...
Ugh.
Like I think of a person. Look. I put gimpy into Google, and the second suggestion is gimpy plant for sale. Who is buying that plant, Mike?
Some freaks.
There you go.
That's who's buying it.
There you go. eBay. There you go.
I Googled gimpy plant, and it's somebody in a hospital bed, not the way they're supposed to be.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. Gimpy plant offered for sale in the United States. No thanks. I'll pass. Anywho, Mike, you're number one.
Yeah, my number one, the Mimosa pudica, is that how?
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah, the sensitive plant.
Touch Me Not.
Yeah.
Touch Me Not. Listeners, if you've never seen a Touch Me Not, they're very cool. So they have this response that they have sensory cells in the plant that when you touch them, it basically causes a electrical current to go through the plant.
Oh, wow.
And then the electrical current that goes through the plant causes all of the hydration that's in the leaf to evacuate at a very quick, rapid response. And because of that, it shrivels up.
Yeah.
And so in just a matter of just like 2 seconds, you see the plant or the leaf go from full and spread out to shrivel and nothing there. Yeah.
So cool.
It's a very cool plant. Very cool.
Yeah.
Makes it seem alive, you know? It makes it seem like...
It does.
I mean, it is alive, not make it seem alive.
One of the things in the Wikipedia article was about that it's like an example of rapid plant movement or something like that. And I was like, oh, I gotta look at that Wikipedia article.
Yeah.
But
You know. Anywho, Mike, we need to move on. We've got 2 birthday suits left. And I'm going to give you the one that I don't think you have any chance of getting first.
Okay.
So I didn't really do too much writing on this one. So I'm just going to give you her information here. She's a country music singer. Mm-hmm. She was born on August 21st, 1988. She has won 7 Grammy Awards. And here are some of her popular songs: Space Cowboy, Butterflies. Let's see. I Remember Everything. Yeah. And if you can dig back into your mind, we actually talked about her just like a month and a half ago, I think, because she remembered a story that she smoked weed with Willie Nelson and they talked about aliens. Can you name that birthday suit wearer?
I remember the story. I don't remember the name.
I thought you would. You would. Yeah, I didn't know if you'd remember. The name you'll remember after I say it. Casey Musgraves, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Casey Musgraves. Yeah.
Casey Musgraves.
She seems pretty nice.
Yeah.
She and if you don't remember, this was also a pretty big moment. She went on Saturday Night Live naked. Say what?
Oh.
Yeah, she just performed completely naked.
Wow.
Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah, it's pretty
Forrest
wild.
Gump style.
Yeah, exactly Forrest Gump
Yeah.
style. Exactly like Jenny.
Jenny.
Casey Musgraves, Kasey. Listeners, if you want to look it up, just go ahead and look that up. Casey Musgraves. And you'll just see her sitting on a stool being completely naked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty wild. And then she came back. She's performed a second time on there as well. So, anywho, she is turning 36 there. So happy birthday to Casey, you know? Good for her. Mike, third birthday suit. The third and elusive birthday suit that we all know there is one person out there that goes immediately to this section of the show. So this is for that person. Yes! The third birthday suit. Here it is, Mike. This is a big one. Like I said, we got two very famous athletes. The first one was Usain Bolt. Here's the second one. Born on August 21st, 1936. Birthday suit wearer was a basketball player from a young age. And from a young age, he was a giant. He was 6 feet tall when he was 10 years old. Jeez. He had nicknames like Goliath and the Big Dipper by the time he was 12 years old. He made it to the NBA in 1959, and he dominated from day one. He played 14 seasons. His number was retired by the Golden State Warriors, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Los Angeles Lakers. He won Rookie of the Year. He won 11 rebounding titles. He won 7 scoring titles. He won a assist leaders title. He won 10 All-NBA seasons. He was a 13-time All-Star winner. He was a 4-time MVP winner. And he was a 2-time NBA champion. And he scored 100 points in a single game. He is considered one of the best players of all time. He is on the 35th anniversary team, he is on the 50th anniversary team, and he is on the 75th anniversary team. And he was considered Bill Russell's biggest rival. It was Bill versus this guy. Name that birthday suit wearer.
Was it Kareem Abdul? No. Come on, man.
Think older. Kareem was 60s to the 80s.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. What were his jerseys? Retirement? 76ers, Lakers, and who else?
Golden State.
Golden State.
Come on, man. 100 points in a game.
I know.
You know.
I know. Why am I not thinking of this? Is it Al something? Al? No.
No.
I'm just going to pass. I'm going to pass on it.
No,
It's okay.
you know.
I don't want to waste.
Blank the stilt.
I know this. I don't know the stilt. What's the? I'll take half credit initials.
WC.
Will Chamberlain.
There you go. There it is. Mike, I'm a little sad that we had to go half credit on that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that was.
Wilt the stilt, man. Wilt the stilt. The giant. And, always Bill Russell versus Wilt Chamberlain. It was the big showdown, man.
I forgot about that. Yeah, see, I remember the Bill Russell documentary, but I remember it being, but I think maybe it was later in the doc, but yeah, Kareem.
Oh no, it was
mentioned a lot.
always during his whole career. I mean, that was the showdown. It was between them. Bill Russell was always considered the team winner, and Wilt Chamberlain never could win the big one. right? He was the better player overall. People saw him as this better player overall, but he just couldn't win the championships. Bill Russell's team always won the championships.
Yeah.
Which is why he was an 11-time championship winner. And Wilt Chamberlain was only 2-time. But I do need to see the Wilt Chamberlain documentary. Pretty sure it came out on Showtime, I think was where it came out. And I still haven't got around to seeing it. My brother told me good things. I need to see it. I need to watch it, and then I need to watch the Bill Russell just back-to-back, get a little feeling for the two of them.
Oh, you haven't seen the Bill Russell?
I've seen a couple Bill Russell documentaries.
Okay.
Is
On
this the
Netflix,
one on
the one on
Netflix?
Netflix.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've seen that one.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
I just need to watch them back to back. I'm saying,
I see.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. But yeah, you're right. Kareem came in the end of both of their careers. So if I'm thinking right, I want to say Kareem's first season was 67. I think. Let me check that. I'm gonna check myself on this. Let's see if I'm correct. I think it was 69. 69. It's 2 years off. Now I feel like a stupid loser, Mike. But yeah, he came at the end of their careers, and so it was like, it was like that big shift from the old Giants to the new Giant, like, and that was the thing. Kareem was sort of like LeBron in those days. He was he came in and everybody was like, this guy is gonna be the guy, and amazingly, he actually lived up to it. He came in and people were like, he's going to be amazing, and he obviously was. He won 5 MVPs. He was crazy good. So,
Yeah.
anyways, it was not Kareem's birthday, so you get no love, Kareem. I'm sorry. Shout out to Wilt Chamberlain. Yes, Wilt. Sadly, I think he passed away. Wilt passed away in '99. Yeah, October 12th, '99. So he only lived to be 63. Sad,
Yeah.
But shout out to Wilt. Yeah, I should have put that in there too. Maybe that would have jogged your memory. Should have put in the he claimed to have sex with 10,000 women.
I was going to say, yeah, there was a thing.
Should have put that in there.
I don't know if it was the same guy.
That's a memory jogger as well. Yeah.
I still wouldn't have got the name, though. I do know that was...
You would have been like, yeah, I've heard of that. I don't know who it is.
That guy, yeah.
But regardless, Mike, you ended up 1.5. Respectable. Mike, we got to wrap it up for this week. We have fantastic shows coming. My goodness. Next week, 311.
311.
Gonna be fantastic, Mike. Also, we have got the fantastic Carbon Leaf, a reunion, 5 years in the making. I can't wait to talk to Barry. It's gonna be so fun. Literally, since 2019, that was the last time he was on the show. I talked to him just recently. He couldn't believe it. He was like, 2019 was the last time I was on. I was like, yeah. Can you believe it? He's like, no, that's crazy. I was like, I know. Yeah, I know. And by the way, fun fact, Mike, when I was doing research for that interview, I saw in a Theo Vaughn podcast, he was wearing a Carbon Leaf shirt.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently Theo
cool.
Vaughn's a big Carbon Leaf fan.
There we go.
So there you go. Shout out to Theo Vaughn. His show's a little bit more popular than ours. Just a little bit.
Just a little.
For now. We're catching you, Theo. Anyways, Mike, we need to wrap it up. I have been your host, Doc G. With me, as always, the one, the only, Mikey Maximus, the Vernicus, Charette.
Always a pleasure, Doc G. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And until next week, zip it up and zip it out.
Zippity-doo-dah.